You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, Bold and Beautiful fans. It is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I have got your Bold and Beautiful episode information for Tuesday, July 11th, 2023. It is season 36, episode 200. There are two big spoilers and some other off-label spoilers that we want to talk about that are happening this week but aren't necessarily dated, to give you some context for some of this. This is all about Hope and Thomas and Deacon and Sheila on Tuesday. There may be some other characters, but those are the big ones that we are focusing on in the official CBS soap opera spoilers for the Tuesday episode. Hey, if you haven't already, please reach down, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our B&B updates, news, and more. And now let's dig in. So what's kind of funny about the Hope and Thomas spoiler, I'm going to talk about the two spoilers, and I'm going to go back and give you kind of more details because I want to share both, but the first one is definitely worth more conversation. So the first one is about Hope Logan deciding to explore things with Thomas Forrester. And the second official spoiler for Tuesday's episode is that Deacon Sharpe spends time reminiscing with Sheila Carter. Let's talk about this one first because, for my money, it's the less interesting of the two. So we have talked about this before, how we expected more preemptions, more flashbacks, things like that because of the writer's strike and how they're trying to conserve their written scripted material. And so they've even warned us in this spoiler about Deacon and Sheila, when you hear the word reminisce or history or thinks about their journey, those are all euphemisms for it's flashback time. So I don't know how far back they are going to go. They both have a longish history, on Bold and the Beautiful, and not all, sometimes it overlapped, a lot of times it didn't. So I don't know if this is going to just be back to when they started banging and, she was down to 9 toes, if it's just going to be cheap apartment reminiscence. I don't know, but that's what we've got. And so we got hot nookie on Monday, and then we've got taco flashback Tuesday. It should just be Taco Tuesday, but we've got taco flashback Tuesday. Sheila Carter's trial starts soon, and we're expecting / hoping for closure at last. But, Bold and the Beautiful doesn't do a lot of trial scenes. I mentioned that in another video, and some people commented and they listed off some older ones, but they just tend to do like things in judges' chambers, not full trials. Young and the Restless and General Hospital will do they've got full courtroom sets that they use. But over on B&B, they just don't do that a lot. And then Sheila was also talking about escape before she kind of fell off the radar, over the last couple of months when they weren't really showing her a lot. So maybe she'll break out and run off, or maybe she'll be convicted and then break out and run off because she knows she's facing life in prison. I don't know, but, I'm not super excited about watching flashbacks. I'm not super excited about them watching this scene anyway when there's so much more interesting things going on in storylines, but I'm especially not interested in flashbacks of it. But nonetheless, that is what we get. And you know what they teach us in kindergarten, you get what you get and you don't pitch a fit, except that soap fans do pitch fits. All right, now let's talk about the much more interesting spoiler for Tuesday, July 11th. Hope decides to explore things with Thomas. That is kind of a hilarious spoiler to me because I feel like she kind of did a lot of exploring already on Monday where Thomas was concerned. Maybe this means emotionally, or maybe it means them just talking through things, because from what I saw, she explored him head to toe on Monday's episode. That was just... there was lots of sex. There was already emotional talk, kind of, because he was like, no, we can't do this. And then she kissed him again. And he's like, oh, you still have a ring on your finger. And she's just like, bam, not anymore. Let's do it. So I will have to say that for my money, most of us, I think, are used to watching, HBO, Game of Thrones type stuff, True Blood, all those shows where it's just really gratuitous, lots of nudity and just very explicit stuff. So to see a love scene like we got with them, for me, it was smoking hot. He had his pants on for most of it. So it was just that the fact I think we've all been waiting. We've been waiting as long as Thomas has been waiting. And I think the people that are excited to see them together are probably as frustrated as Thomas was at this point. I thought that Bold and the Beautiful did a great job. It was very sexy. It hit the right notes of Hope taking control, making it clear, I'm taking off the wedding ring. I'm initiating this. I am making unzipping a hoodie look like the hottest thing in the world. And then she took his hand. She pulled him into the bedroom. She threw him on the bed. It was like, you can't, of course, when Brooke comes in, she's probably going to try to find a way to blame this on Thomas. But Thomas looked as shocked as, a lot of people watching this that don't want them together were probably feeling gape-jawed like, what is happening right now? He just hit the lottery, Probably wasn't nearly as fun when he was boinking that mannequin that looked like her. So I'm good to say he's probably impressed. I'm guessing the mannequin never initiated things, So what's funny, in the next couple of days, we saw it on the promo, but we don't have a specific date for it. And this was the undated spoiler I wanted to talk about. And it was seen in the promo, but we don't know exactly when it's happening. It's going to happen before Thursday, because Thursday is when Brooke walks in on them. They're spending the rest of the week in bed, I think, until Brooke shows up and, poops all over their party. But she's going to ask him if they can keep this secret for now. And of course he'll agree. And I think that's just because she knows she moved awfully fast, but she'd also been waiting for this for a while. And, Liam gave her the green light, but I think it's just more that she kind of wanted, I think, to explore things with him privately between them and kind of figure things out emotionally, figure out where they are, make a game plan. I don't think she meant to do it this fast, but now that they have, I think it's not that she wants to tap the brakes, but that she wants to kind of put some structure around it, probably some labels, some terms and conditions of how they're going to introduce this to people, because clearly they both want it. So if you have not watched Monday's Bold and the Beautiful, this is definitely the episode to go back and watch. I mean, this was all Hope. It was, this is what I want. And he was so good. He was like, I will be here as your friend. And she's like, nah. I want a friend with benefits. So it was just extremely hot. All right, we have one more thing to talk about, but if you haven't already, please reach down, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our B&B updates, episode news, spoilers, and more. So the last thing we want to talk about is, I mentioned briefly that it seems like they're in bed most of this week. Maybe they'll take a break and get some snacks, but they are still in those same sheets, still in that same bed on Thursday when Brooke waltzes in and gets her retinas burned out, staring at the hotness that she does not want to see. We've mentioned this a couple of times, but if you haven't noticed, that is the house that Katie used to live in. I don't know if they're going to brand it as the same house and, Thomas bought it from her, maybe to explain why Brooke has a key, or maybe they just didn't lock the door and Brooke thought, I'm just allowed to come in. Because she's, she hates Thomas, and I don't think she feels like that he has a lot of rights or things to say. So one last thing I want to mention. I was looking back at some of the Thomas Forrester stuff, and I came across some notes on the March 14th, 2023 episode, so like 4 months ago, and I rewatched this scene. I went and found the episode on Paramount Plus, where you can watch like the whole last season. And this was earlier in season 36. And so this was when Douglas was up at Forrester Creations, and he was visiting with Thomas at the same time that Hope was telling Liam she had decided to rehire Thomas. And Douglas was really stressed out about it. I think this was all around the same time when he temporarily moved to Steffi because Liam was being kind of a rage monster and he just didn't want to be in the mix wisely. Douglas said to Thomas, I still hope that someday I can live with you and Mommy and we can be a real family. So That was 4 months ago, and I think little Douglas is about to get his dream come true. Not if Grandma Brooke has anything to say about it, but if Mama Hope and Daddy Thomas have anything to say about it, they're going to get their happily ever after. We'll just have to wait and see.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.